Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the part 2 of the chapter. Today we will discuss soil and water as a resource. Without any delay, let's begin soil as a resource. The thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. It is closely linked to land. Landforms determine the type of soil. Soil is made up of organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks found on the earth. This happens through the process of weathering. Weathering possible because of rain, wind. The right mix of minerals and organic matter make the soil fertile. We'll see the composition of soil, or else called as soil profile. Now you can see on the top soil with humus, subsoil with sand, silt and clay, weathered rock material, and parent rock. Now it's a fact that it takes hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil. Let's move on for the factors of soil formation. The major factors of soil formation are the nature of the parent rock and the climatic factors. Other factors are the topography, role of organic material, and time taken for the composition of soil formation. All these differ from place to place. Now let's see one by one. The parent rock. It determines the color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content, permeability. If you take relief features, altitude and slope determines the accumulation of soil. Take the time, it determines the thickness of soil profile. Climate, temperature, rainfall influences the rate of weathering and humus. Now flora, fauna and microorganisms, they affect the rate of humus formation. So these are 5 factors affecting the soil formation. Next concept is the degradation of soil. Soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of soils. Soil degradation can be possible with human factors as well as the natural factors. Factors which lead to the soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, rainwash, landslides, and floods. And let's start from deforestation. Deforestation is cutting down trees. Overgrazing, probably where the cattle are sent for grazing. If it leads to overgrazing, that will remove the layer of grass. That will lead to the denudation of soil or subsequent washing out of the top layer of the soil. Overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides also degrades the land. Rainwash, landslides. Whenever there is landslides, the depletion. Floods take away the soil, the top layer. Now, these are some of the factors that lead to soil degradation. How can we conserve them? There are some of the methods given in the book. We'll go one by one. The first one is mulching. What is mulching? The bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. It helps to retain soil moisture. Second one, contour barriers. The contour barriers, stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. We will look at that in the next picture. Rock dam. Rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. Terrace farming. These are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. They can reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. Terrace is like cutting down the slopes. Intercropping. Different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from washing away. Contour plowing. Plowing parallel to the contour lines of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. Shelter belt. In the coastal and the dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect the soil cover. It's called shelter belts. We can add strip cropping also in it. Now this is the picture. You can see the terrace farming. They are cut terrace like structures, flat surfaces, so that they can reduce the surface runoff and soil erosion. Contour barriers, stones, grass, soil used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. Contour plowing. Plowing parallel to the contours of a hill so that the water helps to flow down. Rock dam. Rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gully and further soil loss. Shelter belts. Rows of trees are planted so that it can check the wind movement or any angle wind movement from entering. It is to protect the soil cover. Now there is an activity to do. Take two trays A and B of same size, make 6 holes in the end of these trays and then fill them with the same amount of soil. Leave the soil in tray A bare while grow grass in tray B. Grow few centimeters high, place both trays in such a way that they are on a slope. Pour 1 mug of water from the same height into trays. Collect the muddy water that trickles down the holes of both trays in 2 separate containers and compare how much soil is washed out of each tray. This is to prove that when there is vegetation, the washed out land or soil will be less, and when there is no vegetation, the washed out land will be or soil will be more. Right? You can do this activity in home. If you are interested, it will take nearly 4 to 5 days to do it. The next important resource is water. Water is a vital, renewable, natural resource. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. It is therefore appropriately called the water planet. You already know, you have seen the globe, you know the Earth contains 2/3 of water, nearly 70%. It was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back. Even today, the oceans cover 2/3 of the Earth's surface and support a rich variety of plant and animal life. But the ocean water is saline, that is salty, and not fit for human consumption. Fresh water accounts for only 2.7% or nearly 3%. The 97% of water is in the ocean. Nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica. Greenland, and mountain regions. Due to their location, we cannot go there because of the inaccessibility. Only 1% of the fresh water is available and fit for human use. It is found as groundwater, surface water in rivers and lakes, and as water vapor in atmosphere. Obviously, you can see here some trivia. Do you know 1975 the consumption of water for human use was 3,850 cubic kilometer per year, so to more than 6,000 cubic kilometer in the year 2000. It's more now. A dripping tap wastes 1,200 liters in a year. Conservation of water. Already explained, water is a vital renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the Earth's surface covered with water. It's therefore appropriately called the water planet, blue planet. It was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back, and the fresh water is 2.7%. Out of that, all of them are in ice sheets, glaciers, and also we have 1% of fresh water for nearly 750 crores of people. Right. You can look at the sources of water: rivers, lakes, oceans. Problems of water availability. Now, you remember one thing here, that is the fresh water, the most precious substance on earth, can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. Its total volume remains constant. Its abundance only seems to be differ because it is in constant motion, cycling through the oceans, the air, the land, and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation, and runoff. You may refer this to as water cycle. Humans use huge amounts of water not only for drinking, washing, but also in the process of production. Water for agriculture, industries, generating electricity through reservoirs of dams are the other usages. Increasing population and rising demand for food and cash crops, increasing urbanization and rising standard of living are the major factors which has led to the shortage of fresh water, either to either due to drying up of water sources or water pollution. We are facing the shortage. Now, problems of water availability. There is scarcity of water in many regions of the world. Most of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico. These are some areas where the fresh water is facing shortages. Countries located in the climatic zones most susceptible to droughts face great problems of water scarcity. You will see countries in the torrid zone. This water shortage may be a consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitation referring to rainfall, or the scarcity is caused by overexploitation and contamination of water sources. Because of these, water source is being contaminated, overexploited, and thus we are facing, as a consequence, shortage of water. As always, how do you conserve the water resources? Access to clean and adequate water resources is a major problem in the world today. So, what can we do? Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents in water bodies are major contaminants. So, this discharge should be treated properly. Yeah, should not be let into like that only. Most of these chemicals, being non-biodegradable, reach human bodies through water. You remember in Japan, certain in one ocean, people consumed the fish which was contaminated with mercury, and all of them got a disease called Minamata. Read about it. It is also not healthy for their body. Now, steps have been taken to conserve water. Even though water is a renewable resource, its overuse and pollution makes it unfit for the use. So discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals should be cleaned or treated. They pollute the water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. Most of these chemicals, as I told earlier, reach human bodies through water and create lot of diseases. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. That's one. Water is used for irrigating fields. The canals should be properly lined to minimize losses by water seepage. This is normally in the villages. You can see sprinklers can be used for effectively irrigating the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. It's a better option. In dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. The valuable water resource can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of conservation. What can be done is treatment of these effluents, minimizing the loss of by water seepage, using sprinklers, drip or trickle irrigation. These methods can be adopted to conserve water resource. Guys, these points are just taken from the book and I have been giving the explanation from the book. So if you feel lengthier, tougher to understand, I think you should probably go back to the book and read. If you still find any words which you did not understand, any concept that you did not understand, you can always write to me or ask me in the WhatsApp group or write to me personally, or you can comment in the comment box down below. Now the next one is natural vegetation, an important resource. We will study about that in the next class. Till then, it's goodbye from me. Keep watching the videos, learn from it. If you have any questions, as always, please write to me. Thank you guys.